And Young Buzz. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a group that just proved, beyond any debate, why longevity in K-pop is not luck, not hype, and not timing. It's execution, consistency, and trust built over a decade. Yes, we're talking about 17 and how they just turned their 10th anniversary into one of the most dominant years any K-pop group has ever had. Now, before we even get into numbers, charts, and records, I want to ask you something. When 17 debuted 10 years ago, did you imagine they would still be this active, this relevant, and honestly this powerful in 2025? Because if someone told me back then that all teen members would rank from number 1 to number 13 on a Billboard chart 10 years later, I might have laughed. Not because they weren't talented, but because K-pop history rarely allows this kind of sustained growth. And yet, here we are. 17 completely swept the top spots on the 2025 Billboard K-pop Artist 100, with every single member ranking consecutively from 1st to 13th. Let that sink in for a moment. This chart isn't just about popularity on one platform. It considers Billboard 200, Hot 100, Global 200, box score, domestic streaming, and album sales. This is not fan voting alone. This is data. What I find most impressive here is not just that 17 topped the chart, but that the industry is now recognizing them as individuals as well as a group. 13 members, 13 identities, one collective impact. That's rare, especially a decade into a career. Their 5th full-length album, Happy Birthday, debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. And yes, I know some people will immediately say, why not number 1? But context matters. A 10th-year group releasing a full album and still ranking that high in one of the most competitive music markets in the world is not a downgrade. It's a statement of stability. And the title track topping domestic charts only reinforces that this wasn't just an international moment. Korea showed up. The general public showed up. Not just carrots. Media outlets described this year as 17 being at their peak, which is interesting because usually peak implies decline afterward. But with 17, it feels less like a peak and more like a plateau they've managed to stand on comfortably. They're not chasing trends anymore, they're setting their own pace. Now let's talk about concerts, because this is where 17's power becomes undeniable. 38 solo concerts across Korea, Japan, North America, and other regions, pulling in over 1.26 million attendees in a single year. That's not just impressive, that's elite tier touring power. And I want to ask you something honestly. How many K-pop groups do you know that can still sell out arenas and stadiums globally after 10 years without relying on nostalgia alone? Because 17 didn't just perform old hits. They performed new music, unit stages, experimental concepts, and fans showed up. Their fan meetings were held in stadiums. Stadiums. That detail alone says everything. Fan meetings are usually more intimate, but 17 turned them into massive events, and ticket sales were so strong that HYBE entered Billboard's top promoters' Big Four. That's not just a group achievement, that's a business impact. Then came the moment that honestly still feels unreal. 17 became the first K-pop artist to hold a solo concert at Jamsugyo Bridge in Seoul. Not a venue, a bridge, a landmark, a public space that symbolically connects the city. This wasn't just a concert, it was a cultural event. Bridges across Seoul were lit in 17's iconic colors. 500,000 people attended related anniversary events, including the B-Day party and the Sebitseom Island celebration. This wasn't confined to fans inside a venue. The entire city felt it. And this is where I want to pause and give my personal opinion. This is what it looks like when a K-pop group becomes part of national pop culture, not just idol culture. 17 didn't feel like visitors in Seoul during their anniversary. They felt embedded in it. What also stood out to me is how active they were musically this year. A lot of groups slow down around big anniversaries. 17 did the opposite. They released their 5th full album, Buseoksoon's 2nd single album Teleparty, Hoshi and Woozi's 1st single album Beam, and S.Coups and Mingyu's 1st mini album Hype Vibes. That's not filler content, that's expansion. Each unit and subunit showed a different side of 17's identity. Boo Seok-soon topped charts immediately, proving that humor and musicality can coexist. Hoshi and Woozi explored artistry and performance leadership. S-Kuz and Mingyu broke first-week sales records, which tells us something very important. Fans are willing to invest in individual members without losing interest in the group, and that balance is extremely difficult to achieve. So here's a question for you. Do you think 17's strength comes more from their teamwork or from allowing individual members to shine independently? Or is it the combination that makes them untouchable right now? Personally, I think 17 cracked a code many groups struggle with. They don't force equality, but they ensure respect. Each member has space, but no one is detached from the group identity. That's leadership, both from the members and from management. And they're not slowing down. Dokyeom and Sungkwan are releasing their first mini-album Soyagok on January 12th. A vocal unit release at this stage of their career is a bold move, and honestly, I think it's smart. Vocals age well, emotion ages well. They're also launching a new world tour, New, starting in Asia early next year. 10 years in, still touring, still expanding, still testing new formats. So let me ask you this, and I really want to see your answers in the comments. Do you think 17 is currently the strongest example of longevity in K-pop? Or do you think another group has matched this level of consistency and growth over a decade? And for newer fans, does this make you curious about their older eras? Or does 17 feel like a group you can join at any point and still feel connected? To me, 17's 10th anniversary doesn't feel like a celebration of the past. It feels like a launch pad. They're not saying goodbye to an era. They're redefining what a long-term idol career can look like. In an industry obsessed with debuts, charts, and instant virality, 17 is quietly proving that endurance might be the most powerful flex of all. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Was there a specific 17 moment this year that stood out to you? A concert clip? A unit release? An anniversary event? And do you think their next decade can be even bigger than this one? Drop your thoughts below. I read them all. If you enjoyed this kind of deep dive conversation, make sure to subscribe and stay with Anyang Buzz. This is where we don't just report K-pop news, we talk about what it actually means. I'll see you in the next video.